Good morning. How are you? Once again, this is Rose back with Mind and Money Matters. And we will continue our conversation, right? We are continuing to talk about how the mind affects our money and how our money affects our mind and the things that we can do. Hey, Angela Graham, loving seeing you every week. Hey, Ezekiel. Good morning. So I wanted to continue to talk about Mind and Money Matters. Before we get going, I want to make a disclaimer, a license disclaimer. So because of my license, I have to make sure that it is very clear. I am not advising anyone to do anything specifically. I am making you aware. I am informing and hopefully inspiring people to act, right? That is my intention with this. I only advise when I am in a contractual relationship. So this is making you aware. This is my way of teaching and reaching those that I may not be able to sit down and have face-to-face and explain certain things and educate on what it is I know can change their lives. Good morning, Clarence, Michael, Eric, Ricky. Good morning, Dedrick, David. Good morning, guys. So secondly, I want to thank so many people that have reached out. And we've had conversations, and I want to thank you for reaching out. I want to thank you for the conversations. I want to thank you for your lives and your stories. I have to say, you inspire me. You give me faith in our communities and in our world, because I have spoken with some amazing people doing some amazing things who have had some extraordinary things happen in their lives, and their awareness, their consciousness, and their desire to move and impact their lives and the lives of their children and those around them. It has just been amazing. All right. So I want to thank Facebook family for being so wonderful. I'm truly grateful. Good morning, Richard Loxley. Hey, good morning, Alonzo. So third, I want to make sure, because in some of the conversations, we were having, I just want to make sure I am clear as well. I am not preaching. I am not condemning. Nobody wants to do anything or does not believe anything that I believe or does not get what I'm saying and what I'm trying to do and why I am passionate about it. It's my delivery. It's the way that I'm doing it. I'm not going to change anything unless I feel that I am not aware of how I'm doing it, that I'm causing more harm than good. Then that, yeah, I'll do that. But I am trying to do what I feel is necessary and deliver it in the way that I believe is necessary to kind of people up and really think about what it is that we're doing and what we're saying and how we are moving in this world. It is important that we understand how our minds and what we believe about ourselves is impacting how we economically move and impact in the world and with one another. And so that is my thing. It has no other intention other than to do that. So if you don't like my delivery, I'm sure there's other people in here that could do you in another way, but it's just who I am. So I love you for who you are. So accept me for who I am and hear it out before you judge them. But I appreciate it. Good morning, Monica, Craig, Lois, good morning. So to what we have, because we only have about 25 minutes. I have posted an article about the impact right now of on African American communities. Retirement, pretty much zero. No one's really prepared to retire in the African American community. Also, the impact, the financial gap, like I talked about last week, still continuing to grow and not changing, right? And why is this happening? Well, there's tons of reasons, and yes, there's discrimination, but my thing is I find it necessary to find the solutions and not keep talking about the problems, right? And let's just be honest, and it wasn't until 1988 that there were laws passed to stop discriminating against minorities and women. Women could still be put out if they divorced their husbands or their husbands left them, or if they had kids and were not married and their landlord decided because out of religious beliefs or his own hate for, women, or she wouldn't sleep with him to pay the rent, that she could put him out, that he could put her out, or the woman, if she was the owner of the property, could put him out. It wasn't until 1988 where laws were passed to stop discrimination. So we're still moving in a direction of change, and we still have people that still own properties and still are in places and positions of power and influence, despite the laws changing, are still holding on to what it is that they believe and what it is they want to do. So we can't change that, right? We can attempt to change it, but unless we get into these positions, unless we get into the system to change it, it cannot happen. One of the things I learned when I was in the military, I had this one guy tell me, because I was enlisted. And you know how, if you ever been in the military, the enlisted folks, we kind of sit around and we bitch and moan about everything and about the officers and about the system and what they're doing. And one guy told me, hey, you're young, you're just getting in. If you want to change it, why not get in the system? Become an officer. You can't change anything from the outside. I was like, okay. I became an officer so that I could advocate, so that I could be, in the place, in the power position, so I could sit at the table and see what was going on and what they were talking about and why we were doing certain things we were doing. But I kind of carry that with me, that I always have to think about, how can I get in the system to make change? How can I get in the system to impact people's lives? What is it that I can do? Because I can always find problems. And one of the things about the article and one of the things about research in general that I like, but also do not like, is that it always brings facts, right? We believe everything that's written, so it establishes facts. But what happens with that is it establishes a narrative that people continue to play in their minds. And so sometimes when I'm working with people in counseling, or whether it would be with financial planning and investing, is that they continue to tell me about, well, this is what's happening. Hey, Keith, is they continue to tell me about, well, this is about our community, or well, this is about, me, a single mother, or I'm African American, we don't have this. I don't want to hear that. I'm here to create and figure out a way that we can make that happen for you, because we can hold on to these narratives and allow them to continue to play in our minds and establish a belief system about ourselves, then the narrative will continue to be true. We have to take the power back and find the solution. So we have the facts. Great. Article, wonderful. Research, wonderful. It reveals that there is a problem. We can't make anybody love or respect us. #2 is great. But how many people are really making a change instead of just figuring out a way to cover things up, to make it more acceptable, to create an environment that keeps more secrets so they can keep doing what they're doing? That's still going to happen. The same thing with discrimination. It's still going to happen. We are fresh out of making laws against it, fresh out of, slavery, fresh out of calling all of this is still fresh. So if I am honest, we can keep moving toward change, but change happens slow because people benefit from things not changing. So my intention with this is, hey, Eric, is how do we then impact to make change? Well, this story, these articles actually show us a way to find solutions. There are 3 areas: create and generate wealth. Your job is all good and fine, but if you don't know how to utilize it to build generational wealth, it's just getting you through the month, through the week, through the year, or through that section of your life until something changes. Business, owning your own business, taking the money right off the top, investing it, doing what you need to do, and having power and control your own business. In these articles, it talks about discrimination in housing being one of the key reasons that the wealth gap is there. Bad loans or not giving loans, right? To single females or females with children, always asking, well, what is your husband? What does your man do? How are you contributing? How is some other guy contributing? Always asking questions. Now, they don't ask that to a guy. When a guy fills out his documents and papers, what first thing they say is, okay, is this all on you? Are you doing this? Just assuming. Don't make all by themselves, right? And then African American men, they're like, I don't believe it. How long you going to stay employed, right? So there's always something, some way, somehow to figure out a way to say, I don't believe that it's possible. But men never get asked those questions. Women always asking a question and wanting to know where you're in your and how you're doing it, instead of realizing, accepting she can be all powerful by herself, right? But in the article, it talks about that, the discrimination. But what I have found is that I then have to create a circle where I can go to people that understand that and don't give me bullcrap. So I have relationships. I have created friendships with females and Black females, minority females, Hispanic females that are licensed mortgage brokers, right? There are those that are out there that will say yes and will find a yes. And if there is a reason there's a no, will tell you. And I have to be honest, there is this mental block that some people don't like to hear yes or no, or be told what to do by people that don't look like them. We have to be honest about that. And so in order to move forward, good morning. In order to move forward, we have to find places where people are secure and comfortable enough to be honest about their own biases within themselves, but also be able to express that bias and concern when they're in the situation to really ask, is this because of my money? Is this about green, right? Or is this about what I look like on the outside? Because I can't change who I am or what I look like on the outside. I can't change my gender. I can't change my sex. I can't change my sexuality. I can't change my race, my creed, I can't change those things. So then how do we make this about the green? So there are those. And if you don't know somebody, become that person. You don't even need a college degree in order to become a mortgage broker or a real estate agent. It only takes a few $100s to take that class. Become the solution. That's why I'm talking about this article. There are facts in it, yes, and people respond to that, and it's depressing and it's sad. But what is the solution? You're the solution. Good morning, Sean. How you doing? Long time. So if we are the solution, then let's move forward. Become a mortgage broker. Become a real estate agent. Find out what it is that you can do to impact. Get to with other people. So becoming a business, that's how you do it. Then learning how to invest that money. I got a license because I realized that without my uncle did my financing and did my investment. And he worked for a great company. I'm not going to say the name, but not like the same company, but great company. And he sat me down and he sat my husband down when we got married and really, shared a great deal of wealth and broke things down on why and how. And right now he's sick. So because he was sick and I wasn't able to find someone that could really hone in on my needs and do what it was that I needed them to do to build legacy and generational wealth, I went out and did it. Right? Because I have to be the solution. I cannot wait for somebody to do it for me. You cannot worry about somebody not liking you. You cannot worry about this. You cannot worry about that. You become your own power and your own solution. Yes, there are this discrimination and all that other stuff out there, but there are still laws in place and systems in place that only look at the bottom line, only look at the green. This is about capitalism. All the other isms, racism, sexism, all of that other stuff, distractions. That is my intention with this. Distractions. Change your mindset. Change the way we're seeing this, and then we can change our lives. So starting some form of a business or becoming a solution in a business where you don't see yourself or don't see things happening for people that look like you, and figure out a way to empower yourself, because there are a lot of people in a lot of groups that are doing well and think that because they're doing well, somehow that makes a shift. It does not. It's the token of celebration. But for me, I want my children to live in a world where any and everybody around them sees themselves truly as equal. And it's not about color, but it's about, what you can do, who you can be, what you're bringing to the table as you. But if we keep allowing everything to be about race and be impacted by the statistics that race is separated and gender and sexuality an issue, that's a low intellectual operation, right? We're actually operating at a low consciousness when we're doing that. And money is a vibration of high consciousness. And so as long as we continue to vibrate in low consciousness of separation and division, we'll never achieve equality in the high vibration. And money is important because it is the heart of our existence. Every religion that talks about money talks about how it reveals one's heart, right? So I can tell you what you love and what you appreciate and what you value by the way that you spend your money. Why is that so? It's not about the money. It's revealing a consciousness of who you are. It's revealing how you feel about yourself. So if I spend my money on improving my community or my family status, not just to have it and look like, look great, but to actually make a change in the vibration of existence, then I show my high consciousness of existence and my power in the impact of the world, right? So that is who I am. If I use my wealth and I wear it, I saw a group on TV. I'm not going to say the show. If I say the show, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But they had the grill, they had the jewelry on the neck, they had every brand, and I was watching, and I told my husband, I was like, oh wow, a new form of slavery, right? They've got somebody's name on their hat, they had somebody's name on their glasses. I mean, they're branded by every name but their own, right? Willful economic slavery. Loaded down, but if I look at their portfolio, I probably wouldn't see any real estate. I probably wouldn't see any investments in any community, no businesses, no movement other than enriching self. So who does that help? And if you throw parties for whoever you came back from, it's still about you. Where you spend your money tells me about who you are. How you spend your money tells me about who you are and what you think about yourself and what you think about others. So when you get to the place of impacting others and you still only look like doing well, and then make other people celebrate you for doing well, then you are still not money conscious. You are still operating in economic slavery. You just don't look like it. Mind and money matters. And then that type of low vibration, you know how far that vibration goes? No further than that person in that moment. And 9 times out of 10, they won't be popular in the next 5 years. So then what happens with that vibration? It was a blip in our existence. It had no impact. It has no legacy. So it's really not even valid wealth. Real wealth is connected to a of a mindset that can impact beyond self and self-grandeur, which is why you always have to figure out, how am I being part of the solution in order to move my environment to a vibration of oneness. The reason I like Bill Gates is not because of his products. Sometimes I don't even buy his products, but because he understands the importance of himself and the impact it can have. You can argue about if you like some of the initiatives that he has or not. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying. Under the intention and how it drives. It is important for you to change your mindset and to grasp what you have, because it changes the narrative of all things around you. Racism exists because those in power benefit from it. But if those in power, that with the building of their wealth, can get in power and shift that, then it changes. Even look at our own country. on who's in power and who has the wealth at the moment changes on who's being discriminated against, right? So if there is a more liberal consciousness that is in power and that money is flowing, then more people become acceptable. Hispanics, immigrants, African Americans. But then when there's more of a conservative, meaning I conserve, not just a budget, right? So when I am more conservative about who I accept and I am conservative on who should get, then the door becomes very narrow, right? You cannot tell me that money is not important, and all the marching and all the protesting and all the writing and all the statistical analysis and research that comes out has nothing to do and will not impact anything except the minds of those that have the ability to impact. We live in a society of capitalism. We must change our mind to align with the game that is actually being played and play it for all of our good. Or we will all continue to be played by the system. So the other thing, what do we do? Invest in insurance. It has no discriminatory, as long as you're not super sick, it does not say no. Investing in whole life plans. If I can just stop right here. Term life is good for right now. Term life does not get you any wealth in the moment, and sometimes is not taught. You're not teaching the next generation how to utilize it to build wealth for themselves and for those after them. Please, if you don't talk to me, talk to somebody on figuring out, someone you trust, because some people are just out there to get you something. I need you to get something that you can actually invest in. Please stop seeing insurance policies as insurance death benefits. It is not. It is an investment to build wealth that you could not accumulate with working. Mindset shift. It is an investment portfolio that no one can touch and no one can take from you, but it can build money faster than any savings account you can put together. Whole life plans is an investment plan, and there's all kinds of different ones that are out there that can allow you to put money in the same way you would put into the stock market and generate guaranteed growth. That if you were to get a $250,000 policy, by the time that thing actually paid out, it has a cash value of over $500,000. And if you teach your children how to take that money and don't buy crap with it, but take that money, buy policies for themselves, for their children, on their sisters and brothers, the same way that you did, and use that money to invest in either businesses. And if you're not good at business, investing in franchise, there are other ways to invest in business. But it's the only way that you're truly going to make money that you don't have to break your back and go to or go to school for. Like with these loans, but I love what I do, so the student loans don't bother me. But there are ways of doing it. It is a way to put a down payment on the house. So all this discriminatory stuff we're talking about, honey, in the end, green will still talk, and somebody will get you what you want and how you need it. And you have to do the research, though, on how this, even the real estate, is going to benefit you long term. You got to have a plan. Wealth is not by accident. It is intentional. And I have walked into wealth by accident and tripped right out of it because it was not intentional. Right? So even if it's by accident, find a way to make that wealth growth intentional for you tomorrow, because let me tell you, life happens to everybody. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter what your religion, your race, ethnicity. Life happens to everybody. When my daughter was dying from cancer, I don't remember anyone in that hospital that had a religion or an ethnicity that said that somehow, some way, they were going to check out of this whole situation because of their gender, their race, their ethnicity, their whatever. Nope. All kinds of people, all ages, all races, ethnicities, and creeds, getting radiation, getting chemo, and having the door closed because they were gone. Life happens to everybody. And death happens to everybody. If you ever gonna bet on anything, I'm a roulette player. Let me just get and put out that I'm a roulette player. And I like to bet on my numbers. I'm not gonna tell you my numbers because they're good. But I bet on my numbers, and sometimes if I'm not feeling it, I'll just bet on the color. But let me tell you, no matter what, in the end, a number is going to pop, and somebody's going to lose and be out of the game, right? You always got to bet, no matter what, that you are going to die. Like, that is going to happen. When your number is up, when it's your time, when you're going to hit the big checkout, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great. I think it's all a part of transition. So I never see it as a bad thing. But when it's your time to go, it's your, you don't know. But the truth is, you bet on that 100%. And so if you're not the one putting your bet on your death and figuring out a way to master that for yourself and for your next generation, then you've betted against yourself. You lost one of the greater things that you could have done while here. Your life is important to everyone around you that lives in a capitalist system. And if you don't understand that your life, when it is no longer here, shifts and changes their existence, not just emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, but you can put them in a financial situation of devastation because you did not bet on your own importance in other people's lives. And I have clients sometimes will say, well, I worked hard. I don't need to, they need to do that too. It builds them. No, it doesn't. It's at the bottom where they have to start all over again. And you are the one creating the cycle of devastation for them and for the statistics in this research to continue to happen. We are responsible to figure out a solution around any blocks put before us. And there are some. I just want us to become a part of that solution and move forward doing what we can do. Once again, my time is up. Something to think about. Like I said, you can either call me, somebody else, but please, whatever you can do, move forward, become a part of the solution. It is my desire to change the trajectory of our communities and the wealth gap in the ways that I can. And if there's anyone else out there that is doing something similar and you want to team up, I am all for it. But we've got to do something with the world. We've got to do something with our society, and we've got to do something with our power other than just talking about it. I love you, as my girl Mo say, I love you for real. I so love you and appreciate you. I thank you for, once again, giving me your time, which is so very precious. We don't know how much we have of it, right? So I thank you again. Have a great and awesome day. I love you. I appreciate you so much, and do great things today. You are so important to everyone around you, even if they don't say it. I just did. All right. Have a great one.